False Positive is the brand new Hulu original film that dropped on June 25th, only available streaming on Hulu. The film stars Alana Glazer, Justin Theroux, and Pierce Brosnan. Also, Glazer takes a producing credit as well to the film. Glazer and Theroux play a couple that has been trying to have a kid for 2 years now, but they go to their miracle doctor, fertility doctor, who is played by Pierce Brosnan. And once the process really starts with Pierce Brosnan going to work to possibly having a kid for Alana Glazer and Justin Theroux, issues happen. And maybe there's some backstory with Pierce Brosnan and Justin Theroux that Alana Glazer does not know about. The film is an hour and 32 minutes and is TV matured, rated R. My name is Max. We're about to a brand new Hulu review here on Max Talks Movies, a new movie review as well. Before we get started with False Positive, please leave a like, guys. That's the best way to support this channel. Also, please comment down below your thoughts. If you have seen the film, tell me, is this one of your favorite, least favorite films of the year, one of your favorite, least favorite Hulu films as well. Also, if you haven't seen, tell me, are you going to check this one out this weekend on Hulu? Also, please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. I do movie reviews like these, TV show reviews, movie platform reviews, streaming platform reviews, and movie rankings show and a box office breakdown show every Monday. So please, guys, consider subscribing and ringing the bell. We're dropping so many videos basically every day now. So continue to subscribe and let's talk False Positive. So I was actually pretty excited for the movie. It's a really nice cast. Alana Glazer, who for me is just an all comedy, The Night Before and Rough Night, which is a big role for her. For her, the two things I saw her in before this, Justin Theroux, obviously, and Pierce Brosnan, I've seen in many, many other things. And this is an A24 film. So that for me is very high expectations. There really hasn't been an awful A24 film to my knowledge. They even have another one coming out this week called Zola, which I probably will be seeing in theaters. So watch out for that review. But that's another A24 film as well. And A24 for the most part has a good atmosphere, well directed, well acting, and an interesting plot, twist and turn stories that keeps everyone on their heels. And that's something that I was missing with the film. But let's go into the film again. Those are my expectations. A24 horror thriller with some really good actors in it. And again, it's a Hulu original film. So let's get into False Positive. So as I said, the first, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes does kind of grab you into the story. While you've probably seen the story before and you kind of might know where it's going, you're still kind of interested in this couple that has been trying to have a baby for 2 years, can't really do it. And you kind of get why they're so desperate to have a baby. And that's where they have to go to Pierce Brosnan's character. Easily the best part of this movie, in my opinion, is Pierce Brosnan, who plays this fertility doctor, who's this miracle worker, who all these different types of women come to him. And he can somehow, even though you might not be able to have a baby, he, for some reason, has the ways for you to have a baby. For some reason, he's the miracle worker. He plays, I guess, a mysterious doctor, but you pretty much know where his character is going to go. The first scene he's in, it's so obvious where they're going to go with his character and with really all of the characters in the entire film. Once they have that first meeting between these three actors together in his doctor's room. But Pierce Brosnan is really interesting to watch in the movie. He's not too over the top, but he definitely seems like a real doctor who would be this mischievous. It's a really good performance. He's really excellent in the movie. I haven't really seen him in a movie in a long time. I know The Misfits came out this year. I'm not checking that one out for awful things, and it's on VOD, not in theaters or streaming. But he's really good in the movie, and he's clearly, in my opinion, the best performance in the entire film. His character, for the most part, knows exactly what movie he's in, while the rest of the movie is very, very, for the most part, serious. For about 90% of the movie, it's a dead serious movie. And then once the reveals start happening with Brosnan's character and Glazer starts to figure stuff out, then it becomes a bit of a cartoon fight stuff in the last 5 minutes of the movie. But Brosnan does bring while he knows exactly what movie he's in, he knows exactly what performance this movie needs, and he gives that. The other two actors are also very good. Theroux felt like he needed a lot more to do in the movie. He's a very generic husband who keeps saying we're pregnant, and he has some he's working while she's also doing stuff. It's a very generic husband role. and Thoreau does the best he can with a very little to do. And Ilana Glazer, who, as I said, isn't just a um, a lead actor in the movie. She's also the writer, co-writer of the movie, and she's a producer on the movie. So this is a lot of her movie. And she's also going from comedy straight to serious horror thriller. And for me, she definitely commits herself to the role. She certainly isn't bad at all. She's actually quite good in the movie. And you do really care and understand what she's going through, because a lot of things that you think she's seeing or not seeing, people are telling her that she's crazy, that she has like mommy's brain. They keep telling her that you have mommy's brain throughout the film. And at times you're not even sure if we have an unreliable narrator, which I think was a really interesting way to go story-wise with telling this type of story, a Rosemary's Baby like story, where she is seeing stuff and sometimes you feel like it's real and sometimes you don't think it's real. And the balance of that I thought was well done in the movie. And her character, you really do feel for her character. She's wanted to have a baby for years. She has a pretty big decision to make about her baby. She makes a decision. Obviously, some things are not going to go that well with decisions, especially in a horror film. But her character is, and she's clearly the main focus of the film. It really is about her character. And I have to get my negative. Again, she's really good in the movie. Pierce Brosnan's really good in the movie. Thoreau's good, but it doesn't have enough to do. And I think there was a good sense of atmosphere in the movie. I was really interested, and it didn't keep me out of the movie enough. But for me, what was the best part story-wise, the whole movie, was understanding, is she a reliable or unreliable narrator? Is all this stuff fake in her head, or does she actually believe what's going on? But for me, we got to go to the negatives, because I really did not like this movie. And the main reason why is a story from A24 that I felt was extremely lazy. I thought it was one of the laziest written films of the year, especially for a horror thriller movie, with an interesting setup, a premise that doesn't go anywhere, and not just anywhere, but you know exactly, as I said, from the first scene where you get the first meeting between Brosnan, Thoreau, and Glazer, you know how the rest of the movie will happen. And for an hour and a half movie, that's not very good for your first meeting, 10 minutes in the movie, to already know what's going to happen an hour 20 down the line is really disappointing. You know, each of the twists and turns, you know, what her decision will lead to, you know, what Thoreau is doing behind the scenes, you know, what Brosnan's character is doing behind the scenes. It just, at times, it was just so laughably predictable, because I can't remember a movie where the first scene, our big main players have a scene, I knew exactly what was going to happen for the rest of the movie this early into the movie. I really can't think of a horror, especially a horror film, this predictable in a really long time. And for the most part, also, it really isn't a horror film. I know people are saying it is. There's not even anything close to a scare. And it's more just horrific imagery than there is actually horror, jump scares, any of that type of stuff. And one of the biggest reasons why the film for me just doesn't work is that there is really no connection between this couple at all. I'm not going to totally blame Ilana Glazer and Justin Theroux. They're fine in their roles, but the couple itself has no chemistry whatsoever, which makes it even more predictable what happens with what decisions happen with the couple, because you don't really feel like they've been together for a long time. You don't feel like they've been trying to have a baby for 2 years and are this close. It already feels off the first scene they're together. And when you have a movie where you're trying to get out of emotion out of the audience for this couple, which is really one of the main stories of the entire film, it just pulls you right out, because it doesn't feel like the couple is really there. It doesn't feel like a good couple. And it already feels off right off the bat. Now, again, it's good that it's an hour and a half, sure. But for me, again, this is a movie that's so predictable. It isn't that scary. And there's also a lot of subplots that are thrown out here that don't have any ramifications for the last act of the movie. There's the subplot where Ilana Glazer's character keeps meeting up with another pregnant woman, and they become friends, and they're just talking about pregnancy, both of their different experiences. That subplot is one of the most, probably in my opinion, the most annoying part of the entire movie. Every time she's at a scene with this person, it really is annoying. And it's just the way the characters are written in those scenes that just pulls me right out of those scenes. There's also a subplot where Justin Theroux, they each have their own jobs. Theroux and Glazer each have their own jobs. And we spend a lot of time with Ilana Glazer's work. and that subplot goes absolutely nowhere. So there's also, while you have this main story with these three main actors, you're also pulling these characters in also too many different directions, especially Glazer's character, who has a birth mother friend. You have a midwife who again is out of the movie to provide maybe some insight. Her character doesn't really do anything for the last half of the movie. And then she has the work, the job, her job, and that also doesn't go anywhere. So for me, this is definitely going to be one, not a more disappointing movie. I didn't see a trailer. I didn't know what this movie was. I just knew it came out on Hulu this week. But for me, just definitely, in my opinion, the worst A24 film maybe ever. I can't remember an A24 film not this bad. I mean, this is a pretty bad film, and A24 is on it, which is extremely disappointing. So that's kind of the disappointing for me. The actors are good, and the premise itself does kind of lend you into interest in the first act of the movie. But then once they go subplots and you exactly know what the movie is going to be, it just is disappointing for me. I'm going to give False Positive on Hulu a 1.5 out of 5 stars, a 30. I'm going to give it a 30, a 32%, guys. I really did not like this movie. Currently is sitting in my bottom 10 of the year so far. I think a lot of people are a bit higher than me on this. I've seen some people give average reviews, but for me, I just wasn't into this movie at all. It's going to be one of the more forgettable films of the year. So that's False Positive on Hulu. Please, guys, subscribe, ring the bell, like the video. More reviews coming, guys. I'll do my Fast and Furious ranking. My box office breakdown show is coming this week. My reviews of both The Purge and The Boss Baby. It's all coming out this week. Loki and Bad Batch, so many videos. So that's why you got to ring the